Okay, so next let's make a Blade template to view inside of our browser. Blade templates need to live inside of a specific folder by convention. Those are inside of resources and views. So when we said that, hey, we want to return this view and it was called welcome, it's implied that we're talking from the base folder of views right here. Notice I didn't have to do like, resources slash views slash any of that. We just do welcome. And also, when you're doing this helper, we actually don't use the slashes that I just used. We use dot notation for folders. So if there were some kind of folders, it would be top folder dot subfolder dot sub dot index, whatever. So we use dot notation for the view, accessing those inside of folders. So let's go ahead and create a view. Let's just call it greeting because that's what we've been doing. Greeting.blade.php. And let's go back to our controller here. And we're going to say that's greeting. And we've got greeting. And we'll call this, let's see, what have we been returning again? I can't remember. I think it's like, hello, welcome, something, greeting. Hey there. Name, how's it going? H1. Okay. So we are going to return this view. Greeting, yes. Greeting here. Yep. Okay. Let's see what we got. All right. So we've got this view, and this is coming from our Blade template file, and not our controller. So how do we pass data into this? So what we're going to do is, instead of name, let's do name right here. And this is the Blade syntax of how we put variables inside of HTML. And now how we pass that data there is just going to be an associative array. And I'm going to say name is name, like that. Okay. And then we refresh, and there it is. So, hey, Chris, how's it going? We could change that again to my dog, Mando. Hey, Mando, how's it going? And that's how we return a Blade view. Okay, so next let's talk about Blade layouts. So Blade layouts are a way to dry or DRY, or do not repeat yourself, your application view layer. They're a way to reuse pieces of your views and really only focus on the things that change in the view. Welcome is actually a great starting point, this guy that ships with Laravel. So let's use this file and let's just chop it up, all right? So I've got this area here that looks like probably my head. So I'm going to go here, create a folder called partials. Actually, you know what? Let's call this layouts first of all. Oops. Let's call this layouts. Let's go in here. Oops. New folder, partials. And then I'm going to create a file in here called head. Okay. The convention here is when we declare things called partials that we're going into right now, you do an underscore at the beginning of the file name. So we're going to call this head.blade.php. Paste that in there, and there we go. Save. Let's get rid of this guy here. And then let's go to the body. This is kind of our footer here. Let's see here. Let's go to partials. New file. Footer.blade.php. Save that there. And then let's just go ahead and rename this thing to, actually, new file, app.blade.php. So this is going to be our app layout. And we don't really need this anymore. So let's go ahead and delete that. So this is going to be our app layout. And inside of here is where we're going to kind of make the shell for application. So we are going to include a partial for our blade file. So we're going to do include, and this starts at the root folder of the views. So we're going to do layouts dot partials, and then it's dot head, right? Then we want to do the same thing for the footer. Include layouts dot partials footer. Okay. And now we want to do a special tag called yield. And there's more modern ways to do this, but for simplicity, we're going to use sort of the more traditional Blade patterns of using sections instead of components. But for now, this is how we are going to show you to get started. So we're going to do something called yield, and we'll call this content. Okay. So what this means is anything that uses this app layout can put information inside of this content, and this is where it will live. Okay. So now we've got greeting, and let's do this where it says extends layouts dot app section content wrap it end section. Give us a little indentation there. And this is how we set up a Blade view with a layout. So when we save this, we might get some styles going on here, I think. Uh-oh, what happened? Did we not? Yep. At section content, views, content. There we go. Content. There we go. And you'll notice that we're actually getting some H1 styles, and that's coming from Laravel's kind of baked in stuff there. So we are seeing that. Let's go to inspect. And this is the header that we brought in. That is our little footer down there. And notice that our Blade file is just focused on what changes. And this all stays the same. So this is how you can kind of dry up your application using Blade views. So let's go ahead and switch our example over to a blog post system. So let's create a view for a post list and a single post. So let's go to views. We're going to create a folder. We're going to call this posts. One's going to be called index.blade.php, which means like a list of all the posts. And then this one is going to be single.blade.php. Okay. Great. So now let's go ahead and create a controller for those. So PHP artisan make controller posts controller. Awesome. Okay. So then let's go to our post controller. And we need some methods to return those views, right? So let's create public function index return view posts dot index, right? I think that's what it was. Yeah, posts dot index. And then we need one to show a single blog post. So public function, let's call this show by convention, return view posts dot, did I call it? Oh, single. Yep. All right, and there's nothing inside of these, so let's just grab this. This is our app layout that we had before. So let's put that in here and just say this is a list of posts, just so we can see when we land on them. And then this is a single post. Okay. And then let's go to our routes file and set up these routes. Let's go to web. And when we get posts, that means like I just want to see all of them. That's the list, right? So let's do post controller class and then index. The next one we're going to do is route get posts. And then we want to see like a specific post, right? So let's make a parameter called post. And let's do that just as we were before. And I think that was called show. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so we have to give this thing a parameter, right? Because we're taking a parameter. So let's go back to our post controller. Oops. Post controller. There. And let's give it a parameter. Post here. And we'll just say this is a title for the post, right? So let's just... Okay. Now let's go back to our single and give it a place to output that. Okay. Now we should be able to go here and go posts. This is a list of posts. Hello. This is a single post called hello. Great. So we've got our route set up, and we are able to see some posts here. But right now, there's nothing showing up on the index view, right? So this is a list of posts. So let's give it something to view there. So let's go to the post controller, and let's say that we've got some posts, and we want to make a list of posts. So posts, can't type today, equal, this is an array, and let's say that we've got one with the title, Mando is a good dog. Content, oops. This is some content. Title, Harley is also a good kitty. We have a cat named Harley. And content, this is some more content. Okay, so just a couple of fields just to give us something to mess with. Okay, let's pass it to that index view. And remember, we do this with an associative array, and we'll call this posts, and we want to pass posts in as that. And this is, again, this is just what we call it inside of the view. I could call this whatever I wanted inside of the view, but just for consistency and less mental overhead, I just keep it simple. So that's what we're going to see inside of index. And then let's go inside of that index file here, and we're going to do a blade loop. This is going to be cool. So let's make an unordered list, and we're going to use a blade directive, and this is just a for each loop. So for each, and we're going to do post as post. I've been writing a lot of JavaScript, so almost did that incorrectly. But for each post as post, end for each, and then inside of this loop, we want to build out a list element. And then the post, let's just call it title. Yeah, this is probably not semantic HTML, so I apologize, but then let's make a paragraph, post content. Okay. So we've created this list view that shows us a post title. Let's give this a header, actually. H2, maybe? Might be too big, but whatever. Let's save that. There we go. So now we're seeing our list of data that we've sent in. Harley's also a good kitty. Mando's a good boy, good dog. Awesome. So next, we don't really hand code our responses in the real world, right? So we don't sit here and hand code the stuff that we're going to send into this view. What we're going to do is we need to pull data from a database. And in order to do that, we need to create some database migrations and some models. So that's coming up next.